These are the students who hopefully will be the flag bearer of Actor Prepares for the next so many generations. And apart from the teaching, great teaching that's done by the amazing teachers that we also have these sessions where we talk to people who have done extraordinary work. We are choosy about it. And I personally feel that Trial by Fire is one of the finest shows that I have seen.
I thought it was a very powerful story, very emotional. I didn't know if it was possible to make it into a show because it doesn't really have a conclusion. They're still fighting. The victory is that they are still fighting. They've refused to accept defeat. It spanned 25 years. There were no mysteries, no twists, no turns, no... the main opponent was basically the system and inaction and stagnancy. So how do you make a series about something like that, which itself presents itself as no drama, in the traditional sense of it. But I think that became an interesting challenge, and I think in some ways that's true to what a hero really is. It wasn't this huge event that took place in the distant past. It's a cinema. It's a place we all go to. So I think those two things, we feel that it was relevant and important and potentially even inspiring. So that's sort of how I came
Prashant also made an amazing film which was very loved in Sundance Film Festival called America.
Umrika.
Yeah,
Yes.
America, which was a fabulous film. How did you decide to for this amazing two people who have taken the series forward? How did you decide that?
So I've known both of their work for a long time. Abhay, obviously I've known his very much loved work. And Rajshri has done a couple of fantastic films. There's a film called S. Durga, which Sexy Durga, which her performance was absolutely stunning. So I've known, obviously wanted to work with them. Abhay and I just started discussing. He read the script. We weren't sure if he would like it, and then through the discussions, he was responding to it, and then he sort of took that leap of faith on the project, which and we were of course thrilled because he's an actor who I've admired for a long time and wanted to see, back on screen in a big way. And Rajshri, so Rajshri and I have known each other very briefly. We met once, and always wanted to work with her. But the role was so kind of difficult that I asked her if she would kindly kind of just come in and explore with me a little bit, and we
You were basically testing.
I was, yeah. I don't like to use that word because I think the process is
exploring is a better
exploring is a better word. So she
That's
came
the
in.
word Joshua used for me when he was the talent is a great word.
Yeah.
आपको कोई अब स्क्रीन टेस्ट के लिए बोलता है तो उसमें एक फीलिंग ऑफ फेलियर एंड सक्सेस की फीलिंग आती है.
And that's not
That's
to,
something great thing to learn.
Yeah, not to digress or anything, but that is a problem in the way that actors are given chances. But anyway, so Rajshri came in, and we did that one scene where she finds out that her friend's son is alive, and she did it. And the first time she did it, we were all she brought so much emotion to it that we all kind of just, we were all moved and very moved, all of us, the casting director, my associate director. And then we just kind of said, okay, great, you know, and we knew immediately that, that it was her. So I think she said that we texted her basically on 13th January 2020, exactly 2 years.
20.
Yeah, 21. So exactly to the day, 2 years before the release.
So obviously, Prashant had briefed us about the dynamics of the relationship. I had discussions of my character with him as well, how he's seeing it, took a few points. So you collect all that data, that information, and you sit with it. Every project is unique. This particular one is a true story, and it's extremely tragic. So I found myself troubled because you're going to recreate something so tragic. And I find, and I think I'm not alone, I think most people are like this, it's very easy for me to have empathy for another, but really not have so much empathy for myself. I'm fine where I am. What is your problem? Look at him, look at her, look at their situation, blah, 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 blah. So I was very easily able to go into that. And the more I explored their tragedy, the more thankful I was for who I am, where I am, what I have. And that just kind of slipped me into position. In this case, it was being so grateful for where I am and who I have in my life and what I have in my life. So it's philosophical, it's emotional, it's humanitarian. That came about because this was such a tragic true tale.
Yeah.
You know, and I came with that to the set.
Whenever I approach any character, first of all, I'm very honored to portray Neelam on screen. Her journey is, though it's a tragic event and everything, but it's very, very, very inspiring for me. First time when I got the script and I was going through all the details, because I'm a very, I like to study. I like to go through a process, just like, what we learn as an actor. Go through the imagination, go through the, inner monologue with everything. So I go through that process. I like to sit with my script and, demark it properly and go through that, okay, because anyways, we were not shooting linear. But you have to be so prepared that if you're shooting 55 and if you're shooting 35, then you know how your dynamics
Scene number
should
55
work.
and scene number 30. Yeah.
Yeah, means like, you're playing a age 55 to 60,
age.
age
We go
55 to
18 years.
60, and because I don't know how many people have seen the show. So, you know what I'm talking. So, we age in this show. So, we were shooting, one day we were shooting the old also, we were shooting the young also. So, we had to keep that thing in your head that, okay, you have to be prepared for the space at that time. And then, so I normally prepare myself in such a way where the internal process is there, emotional truth I carry with all my sequences, but I have to, like physical, that whole continuity of it, because how she is aging, even the pauses, even there are no lines, or what exactly she's saying in that, even a look, because camera is on you over here, so you cannot lie to the camera. Like in theater, you can always make a little more gesture and still you can convey a scene, but when it comes, the camera is on you like here, you have to imagine that there are certain things is happening. Like we do imagine, do you do imagination exercises? Yeah, like creating something, just like, okay, you open a bottle and you're drinking a water and everything. Yeah, any particular thing. So it's exactly when your camera is here like this, you have to kind of start imagining, use your imagination exercise over there where you are actually feeling everything, but not fully.
I think that's a slippery slope. You can go very far with prosthetics and mimicking the actor and sort of trying to embody the physical aspects. That's definitely a concern, but I didn't think that we should prioritize it, and we discussed it. That's not what is the essence of those two people. So the other thing is that these guys had to do some really difficult stuff, very primal feelings. I mean, the experience of losing a child It's not something that's imaginable. It's not something that there's no word for a parent who's lost a child in any language. You know, because it's unimaginable. So if you're asking an actor to do that, you don't really want them to be thinking, how would the Krishnamurtis react in this situation? Because the audience will feel it. You want them to be free and to embody that moment. So it's a delicate balance. Obviously, and they were both very proactive with working with the makeup team and the costume team to kind of own it a little bit and own their transformation. But I think our job was really to kind of create an environment where they could be in the moment, because this is that type of material where the things that are happening to them are so profound that the audience will pick it up immediately, and also the audiences are desensitized to, we see this and treat it so badly so often. So how do you make an audience really connect with the performance in that moment? It needs to be true. It needs to be really true. So I don't know where they go to get that. That's not really my job. How they do it, they have. I get the feeling every actor has a different way of doing it, but my job is just to facilitate that. And I think it was really important they were in the moment. So we did little, but that was not the focus.
See if I get absorbed in that world or not. And for me personally, I can do that better when I disassociate as an actor. Because then I'm not focused on my character. I'm focused on everything that makes this special or not special, attractive or unattractive to me. Then if I like that world, that's when I start to look upon the character I'm being considered for and how he fits into that world. What is he contributing to that world? Because then I know better. Okay, this character is passive or active. I'm obviously more attracted to characters that are active, not just who are just responding. But then sometimes that can be fun. I did this film called Ek 40 Ki Last Local, where he's passive. Everything's just happening to him.
Yeah.
And he ends up with a lot of money. But it was funny.
Right.
So I see those things. Relatability. How much do I relate? Because if you look at our traditional way of formulaic stuff, like if it was the regular formula where you have to be a hero, you save the girl, you beat up 10 guys, you don't see those people in real life, and I don't relate to that. But someone like Shekhar, who I play, who's just an average guy, but he overcomes a David versus Goliath kind of story. The system is strong and against him, but yet he perseveres. Or even Dev D, when I wanted to contemporize it because I wanted to call out his chauvinism, his obsessive, destructive behavior, and how the women were much stronger and better characters than he was. And I've lived a life of destruction and obsession myself, so that was something relatable. In Oy Lucky, it was his ambition. To make the kind of movies I made back 12, 14 years ago was ambitious, because nobody wanted to make them, and even if you made them, nobody wanted to release them. So like that, I found something that I can relate to, because when you find something you relate to, it's a great place to start.
जैसे अभय ने अभी कहा ना कि आपका डायरेक्टर किस तरीके से स्क्रिप्ट को अप्रोच कर रहा है, मतलब इज ही सेंसिटिवली राइटिंग एवरीथिंग, इज ही सेंसिटिवली सीइंग एवरीथिंग. तो इनफैक्ट मेरा मैं पहले बहुत इमोशनली स्क्रिप्ट को मैं पहले देखती हूँ कि ये मूव कर रही है नहीं मुझे, एंड व्हाट एग्जैक्टली इज टेलिंग मी द स्क्रिप्ट. इट हैज़ टू टॉक टू मी. ओके, दिस इज़ व्हाट यू आर गेटिंग आउट ऑफ द स्क्रिप्ट. दैट्स हाउ आई रीड फर्स्ट. See, honestly, it was a huge opportunity for me to work with a director like Prashant Nair, whose work I really admire. तो पहले तो ये था कि अच्छा, my first tick mark था क्योंकि Prashant is there. And then the script, of course, I gone through the whole details of the case, Neelam and Shekhar's case, and the whole Upahar thing, and I'm like, I'm so honored to actually, play this part. तो वो दूसरा tick mark था. फिर script आई हाथ में, then तीसरा tick mark था. So everything was properly tick marked for me. And while approaching Neelam also, I like. Of course, as he said, we don't want to, maybe there is a little resemblance, but not clearly, because she's a little different kind of built and everything. But as Prashant's brief was, you have to make it like it's you. You have to find that emotional truth कि ये जो भी कुछ है इसमें, how you can be there in that situation and how will you handle that. So वही होता है कि एज एन एक्टर आप इमोशनली उसको अपना बना लेते हो और अपना बनाने की पूरी तरह से कोशिश करते हो. आप पूरा स्किन नहीं बन सकते हो किसी भी कैरेक्टर का, पर आपको वहाँ तक पहुँचना है, उस रियलिज्म में पहुँचना है जिससे आप लोगों को लगे कि हाँ अरे मैंने फील किया, उसने सिर्फ देखा और मुझे लगा कि अरे उसने कितने सारी बातें कह दी उसमें कि वो कितना गुस्सा है और उसे क्या क्या कहना था, बट शी जस्ट लुक्ड एंड शी जस्ट सेड एवरीथिंग. तो
It's not often that happens, but it happens.
It happens, of course.
Like in Devdi, Anurag didn't direct me at all. He didn't say anything. Like he just let me be. But then that was an idea that I'd come up with and a character I knew. So it wasn't even like I was asking him. And I think he allowing me to do my thing and not saying anything in terms of as a director to an actor encouraged me to think, okay, so what I'm doing must be right. And I continued doing that.
I have
and he
a
was
question
happy.
in between for that.
Yeah.
don't judge my characters, but I cannot get into a derogatory way. I don't want that it is written in a certain way or portrayed in a certain way which is derogatory. If it's aesthetically better, then I don't mind, but it has to be, like kept all the boxes. Ki okay, we are not. See, honestly, I'll tell you, sir. I come from a small town.
Which is?
Aurangabad.
All right.
तो मैं जब यहाँ पहली बार आई तो initially I had no choice. तो theatre विटर.
Are you a trained actress?
Yes, sir. I am trained.
From?
I studied in Whistling Woods.
Okay.
So I came. So there's a journey. I from औरंगाबाद मैं पूना में पढ़ने के लिए आई थी. फिर मैं वहाँ पे I worked in advertising for many years to support my education, and then I quit one fine day because the joy was always theatre, and I didn't want to go to FTI because I wanted to leave Pune. So there was एक होता है ना कि आप एक जगह से आप निकलना चाहते हो तो अब निकल गए, and Bombay आ गई मैं. So Bombay I was not knowing anyone. So whatever saved money I had, Whistling Woods was the first option which everyone was telling me, and I got a little this thing also, and I joined there. But that gave me a lot of confidence, and when I came out from the Whistling Woods, of course, I joined Nasir sir's motley because I studied under Nasir sir and Rob Rees from Actors Studio. So theatre gave me a lot of space. I started traveling. I started volunteering for a lot of social causes. So that became my life. But वही है कि chances, choices तो ऐसा आपको मिल नहीं सकते क्योंकि आप किसी को भी नहीं जानते हो यहाँ पर. आपको audition के रेस में तो रहना ही पड़ता है. So I used to audition and audition and audition. But कुछ नहीं होता था. Whatever little work I used to get कि कभी एक scene कर लिया, कभी एक scene कर लिया. But social work gave me a lot of space at that time. I started working in villages, and the choices also became like that. The literature opened up, the world cinema opened up, and social work gave me a very different kind of a base for me. Ki, okay, what kind of work I would like to do. That doesn't mean that I have not done bad work. I've done one scene here, यहाँ पे कर लिया, कभी serial में कुछ काम कर लिया, कभी कुछ कर लिया. Just do little bit whatever support I had.
There will be many auditions. Instead of seeing like, oh, ये नहीं मिला, अगर ये मिलेगा कि नहीं, अब ये भी नहीं मिला, वो भी नहीं मिला. Instead of looking at it that way, look at it as though more and more opportunities to continue improving yourself. Then there's that case of you actually might do a really good audition, but you still don't get it. I think take out right and wrong from your vocabulary. There's no rights, there's no wrongs. At the same time, I had a very idealistic view of the world. Like I wanted my ideals to be that which manifest and guide me, and experiences I have are within that scope. It's not an ideal world. So instead of fighting that fact and feeling sorry for yourself or fighting back and getting angry. You just have to accept it and see what kind of a world is it that we live in. Because you'll be more disappointed if idealistic, but you won't be disappointed if you're just open to see, okay, what is it that this world is made of? As an actor, I think it's very easy to fall into this sort of victim mentality, like, oh, so-and-so got it because of this and this reason, or I'm from this background and so I have it harder than that person who's from that background. When you start comparing yourself to others, even if what you're saying is true, it's not going to help you.